Outside the mansion, the young man lounged with a book over his face until someone finally found him. Hearing the familiar voice, the young man lowered the book from his face. Realizing who stood before him, he looked up and addressed his sister. The young woman, visibly annoyed, snapped back at her brother's laid-back attitude, fixing him with a sharp look and demanding more seriousness. As they talked, a bird dozed on a branch while his sister reminded him someone had been looking for him. He admits to running from a chore, while his sister scolds him for neglecting his duties as head of the family. He reflects that, as the fourth son of the Kano family, he was never supposed to become the head. He recalls the tragedy. A meteor struck the party where his 3 brothers were, killing them all. Tired, he sighs and admits he only wants a quiet life, asking his sister to let him have at least one day off. While they sit in the garden, his sister asks why he wants the day off today, wondering if it's his birthday or some other special occasion. After keeping her guessing, he proudly declares that the reason he wants the day off is because today is the spring solstice. His sister, puzzled, asks what he means. He explains that the spring solstice is the day when the weather feels most like spring, much like the summer or winter solstice. In the end, he smirks and admits he made it all up, leaving his sister completely speechless. He insists he's serious, but his sister just laughs, convinced it's another one of his jokes. Smiling, he asks to be allowed, just this day, to enjoy a peaceful afternoon nap. She sighs, calling his name in exasperation, while he stays completely at ease. With a firm gaze, his sister tells him it's time to get serious, and he responds with a startled apology. Frustrated, she says she'll tell Mimi's where he is, grumbling about how much trouble her brother always causes. Before his sister could leave, he stopped her, raising his hand as a spark of magic began to glow at his fingertips. Moments later, an older man arrives, puzzled that Hermes isn't there, even though Lady Sola had said he would be. The man realizes the figure in the chair was just a magical illusion and concludes that Hermes had already slipped away. Noticing the trick, the man remarks with a wry smile that Hermes even left his drink untouched before vanishing. Hidden by his magic, Hermes smiles with relief, confident he can finally enjoy his solstice in peace. As the mansion looms quietly, Hermes vows to never reveal his true power. The next day, Hermes bursts through the mansion gates, shouting Mimi's name in a panic, startling everyone around. Hermes rushes up to Mimi's, getting uncomfortably close, and blurts out his demand for money. As Mimi's tries to bring up yesterday's matter, Hermes cuts him off, urgently demanding a handful of gold coins instead. Overexcited, Hermes explains he needs the money to buy a rare limited edition photo book of Orsha, leaving Mimi's completely baffled. Excited, Hermes reveals the book is about Orsha, the legendary sage hailed as the most beautiful woman in 10,000 years. He stresses the first-run edition, serial number 01, complete with her autograph. Mimi's says it's just another hobby, but Hermes insists Orsha is his life. With a sigh, Mimi's gives in and hands him the money, as Hermes dashes off with cheerful thanks. Back in his room, Hermes beams with satisfaction as he holds the rare Orsha photo book. Startled, he pulls back, careful not to leave fingerprints on the limited edition book. Excited, he conjures magic gloves to handle the book safely. Wearing his magic gloves, he braces to open the book, just as someone calls out to him. His sister walks in, but he asks her to wait since he's caught up with the book. She realizes he still hasn't dealt with yesterday's issue and confirms her suspicions. Annoyed, she snatches the photo book from his hands. She takes the photo book and hand him papers, insisting he won't get it back until he deals with the issue. Hermes panics, realizing the situation feels just like a kid getting his toys taken away for not doing homework. His sister firmly lays it out. He must identify the enemy, coordinate with Mimi's, and ready the troops, giving him no room to escape responsibility. With no way out, Hermes bursts through the door, shouting that he's going. Hermes charges forward with determination, his sister watching as he vows to reach Orsha. Mimi's announces with a smile that the cursed dragon has vanished. It's confirmed that the land tainted by the curse has been purified, while Hermes sits in heavy silence. The dragon was defeated just 2 days after appearing, with minimal damage done. Hermes sits slumped, troubled, as Mimi's explains that nearby towns want to honor him in gratitude. Hermes silently wonders what he even did. Panicked, Hermes yells that he was left to face such a powerful monster alone. Mimi says the king is pleased and wants to commend him, which makes Hermes panic. Hermes asks to cancel the praise, but Mimi says it's impossible. His fame has only grown. He acknowledges he's the strongest without showing his true power and dreams of turning his house into a kingdom. The tale is framed as the story of a noble who has no desire to rise in status. In the end, Hermes relaxes again, happily flipping through his Orsha photo book. While secretly reading, Hermes overhears the maids talking about where he is. Sensing his sister's tone, Hermes knows trouble is coming and decides it's time to run. His sister asks if her brother is there. She rushes into the room, only to find he's already gone. Hermes finds being called Brother Father annoying and slips away before she spots him. Hermes slips into the city, relieved to have avoided his sister, but is quickly recognized by someone. A cheerful vendor promotes a new product, urging people to give it a try. Hermes says he's already got enough, but the vendor pushes more into his hands, insisting he can still carry it. As he notes how lively the city is, Hermes spots someone approaching. Suddenly, a cheerful girl rushes up and hugs him from behind, excited to have found him. Realizing who it is, he reacts flatly. Urusha. It's explained that, honoring the legendary sage Urusha, many women have taken her name, making it common in beauty-related professions. She's one of many who took the name Urusha, but she's the one Hermes is closest to. Urusha leans in playfully, asking Hermes if he has any free time today. Hermes says he's not exactly free, noting that while Urusha isn't as demanding as his sister, she still drags him into trouble now and then. Urusha begs him to come to her empty shop, and Hermes realizes what she's after. Hermes realizes that of all the things Urusha could ask for, this one is the easiest and least troublesome. Urusha tempts him by promising the best service ever. Hermes agrees to go, brushing off Urusha's flirting with a deadpan response. Urusha gently strokes Hermes' head as he rests on her lap. Urusha wants to do something fun, but Hermes says just being lazy and relaxed is perfect. Urusha excitedly asks for a once-in-a-lifetime favor, and Hermes jokes, asking how many lifetimes she's had already. Urusha asks Hermes to boost the shop's sales, but he insists he's already helping. She tempts him with new sake, while he suddenly notices something. Urusha says the sake is from Dunamis, and Hermes reacts in shock at the name. Urusha says the sake is aged 37 years, but Hermes recalls it from the worst year when disasters ruined most barrels. Urusha explains the sake came from one of the untouched barrels, but since it's super rare, it'll be pricey. Hermes is stunned. Excited about the rare sake, Hermes agrees immediately. Urusha kisses his cheek and shouts her love, catching him off guard. Hermes fantasizes about the rare sake, amazed it still exists in perfect condition. Urusha rushes off cheerfully to get it. Hermes realizes something, and suddenly a massive whirlwind erupts, tearing the place apart. Hermes slams into the ground, landing hard as the whirlwind throws him down. Hermes sniffs the air and walks forward, convinced this is the right path. A towering stone giant rises before Hermes, massive and menacing, blocking his path. Hermes strides forward calmly, commanding the foe to back off as his power clears the way. Hermes casually spots what he was looking for, unfazed as the golem crashes down behind him. The golem rises, growling at Hermes. Hermes glares as the golem smashes trees. Hermes leaps and smashes the golem apart. Hermes identifies the savma plums as safe. Hermes pairs the sake with savma plums, calling it the best way to enjoy it. They toast with a cheerful chin and start drinking together. Hermes and the group celebrate, raising their drinks in joy. Hermes wakes up hungover, unable to recall how he got home. As Hermes heads out, his sister suddenly calls to him. She praises Hermes, but he brushes it off, claiming he's too busy. She reminds Hermes of the urgent request about the threat in Lazarus Forest. Hermes is shocked to learn the threat is in Lazarus Forest. Hermes brushes it off, recalling he took down that monster in the forest just yesterday. Witnesses swear they saw Hermes in action. She praises Hermes for taking down Audumla Solo. Distracted by the rare sake, Hermes unknowingly took down the monster. Hermes lounges on the sofa, noting how enhancement magic has really improved lately. His sister catches him off guard, asking what he's looking at. She explains it's an arranged partner book and hints Hermes isn't forbidden from it. She insists Hermes must produce an heir, flashing suitors as he panics. Hermes denies the photos are his, but his sister says they're marriage proposals for family ties. Hermes notes the marriage offers are back since the Kano family rose to count status. She asks if anyone stood out. Hermes says they were just normal, nothing special. Hermes notes they only want political alliances. She replies that's what makes them normal. She asks what he'll do, calling him bro-father. Hermes smirks, joking about picking again. She was originally just his older sister. She became the adopted daughter, he the head. Since then, she calls him bro-father. He tells her to reject them all. No way he'd hand her over to guys like that. She laughs, but he reminds her she's the Kano house's only daughter, basically a princess. She winks, asking him to protect her until she marries. He reluctantly agrees. The next day, Hermes learns that Lady Sola has been kidnapped. Hermes learns Sola was taken by the Demon King. The Demon King makes a bold entrance. 400 years ago, the Demon King founded the Kano house, making Kaon a distant relative. Kaori, the Demon King's child, still lives. The Kano family continued as humans. Hermes finds out the Demon King Kaori is a distant relative and gets a letter from her. Just another hassle to him. Kaori declares herself the Demon King and claims to know everything about the Kano family. Hermes recalls his father saying the Demon King always kidnaps princesses, just like his sister. The Demon King declares she's taken the princess and dares them to come to her castle if they want her back. The princess cries for help as Hermes faces the ominous dark castle. Hermes looks at his sister, addressing her with resolve. They settle it with a quick game of rock, paper, scissors. She pretends to be tied up, but it's just a trap to lure Hermes. They threaten Hermes, warning his sister will suffer if he resists. Hermes asks, and it's revealed kidnapped princesses are always humiliated, a twisted tradition from the past. The villain demands a glorious fight to save the princess, but Hermes brushes it off casually. A massive surge of power erupts from the ground, forming a dark tower that pierces the sky. Hermes faces the dark crater, ready to go all out. The self-proclaimed Demon King charges at Hermes. The clash erupts with overwhelming force. Hermes calls out her inconsistency mid-fight. Hermes strikes, demanding consistency in what she calls him. The Demon King charges forward, brimming with power. Hermes leaps high, striking down with explosive force. Hermes is drained, while his foe looks thrilled. Completely unharmed, she pretends to lose after 30 minutes. Kaori boasts she'll keep being reborn, while he calls it nonsense. Kaori even rebuilds the castle, overacting her performance. Hermes saves Sola from the rubble. Sola thanks him, but Hermes brushes it off. She smiles, glad he treated her like a princess. He looks at the ruins, wondering if that's really how it works. He notes her flawless care, but mutters that their ancestors were annoyingly strict with rules. He believes this way, none of his actions will be noticed. Kaori proclaims Hermes beat her, and his fame skyrockets. The mansion stands in view. A young girl practices sharp sword swings. Hermes praises her effort. She's called Medea. Medea beams with pride, thrilled her master noticed her. The legend of the strongest noble is far from over. Medea, granddaughter of the sword saint, demands to be his disciple. Hermes accepts her as one. Medea proudly shows off her sword skills, while Hermes watches with a thoughtful look. Hermes praises Medea, impressed by how much she's grown since they first met. Medea celebrates her progress, and Hermes jokes that her long hours of sleep played a part too. Hermes steps forward confidently, sword in hand. Hermes tells Medea to try the technique on him, shocking her. Hermes challenges Medea to fight seriously and show her growth. Medea eagerly accepts Hermes' challenge. Medea charges at Hermes with fierce resolve. Hermes realizes Medea's strike is stronger than expected. Medea unleashes a fierce strike, yet Hermes blocks it effortlessly with one finger. She unleashes a relentless barrage of strikes. She's amazed. He stops it with ease. She reflects on training. He sees her effort and gets serious. He calls Medea, and she answers brightly. Hermes immobilizes her, shocking Medea. Medea mirrors Hermes, raising her hand curiously. Hermes raises his arms, and Medea eagerly follows, excited by the game. Hermes explains it's just a spell that makes the target mimic his movements. Hermes wonders why, but Medea just praises him excitedly. Medea looks confused. Hermes just laughs. Hermes admits it was to teach a new technique, and Medea gets excited. Hermes tells her to keep his role as master a secret, though Medea is eager to brag. They spar in sync, blades clashing as teacher and student refine their skills. He praises her flawless form, telling her to just keep practicing. She beams with gratitude. Out of nowhere, girls pop up with signs and cheers, catching her off guard. They notice the crowd gathered, puzzled by all the onlookers. Among the stumps of the cleared forest, the stillness carries an ominous weight. It feels inevitable, like the enemy's arrival was only a matter of time, and this desolate place was chosen for their appearance. She worries if he's okay, but he reassures her, saying the last move was so advanced it looked real, not just practice. They hide their training by making it look like a playful trick. Onlookers assume it's just some kind of performance. Someone cuts in, insisting that's not the case. An old man appears, noting those moves were once taught even to the king. He explains they trained tied together to synchronize, even making the king learn that way. She's surprised they weren't actually tied with a rope. Both girls cheerfully agree that it's true. They laugh in surprise, wondering if Hermes' feat was actually magic. As the girls laugh excitedly, he watches awkwardly from behind. Medea worries his identity might be exposed, yet feels glad he's being praised. Medea suddenly panics. Blushing, Medea nervously calls out to her master. He grumbles, yet ends up gaining even more fame unintentionally. She warns Hermes that kidnappings of girls have been on the rise. With a serious look, she asks him to investigate. He begins the investigation at her request. They confirm numerous disappearances in the territory. He asks, and they confirm nearly all cases remain unsolved. He concludes the cases were likely all done by the same culprit. He asks why, and they explain the victims were always young women. The victims are unmarried girls, ages 12 to 25. He realizes it, noting even a brothel madam would notice girls in that age range. Money is sent to the kidnapped girls' families. He asks the amount and learns it's about 10 gold coins. He's shocked. It equals 10 years of labor for a young woman. He dismisses trafficking, noting the payout is far too high. He suspects the case is tied to a major underground scheme. He realizes solving it would boost his reputation, yet chooses to drop it. He realizes the protective spell on his sister has just activated. He rushes out at full speed. He dashes across rooftops toward the danger. He spots the suspicious carriage making its escape. He readies himself, cloaked in dark energy. He unleashes his energy, striking at the fleeing carriage. His strike blasts the ground, erupting before the carriage. He blocks the road, forcing the carriage to halt. He slashes down, tearing through the carriage's front. He demands they release the captive. It's revealed the captive is his sister. The enemy accuses him of treason against the kingdom. Confused, he questions what the kingdom has to do with this. They reveal the one before him is the current queen of the Karumba kingdom. She introduces herself as Her Majesty, Erika Karumba. He responds in awkward confusion. The Karumba kingdom is revealed as one of the continent's 5 great powers. The Karumba kingdom is said to be the strongest of the 5 nations. He's stunned to learn she's queen of the strongest kingdom. She gives a firm command, and her followers answer immediately. With a cold smile, she commands them to take him down. The underling immediately obeys Lady Erika's command. The underling launches a fierce magic attack. He effortlessly blocks the spell and disarms the attacker. He watches silently as the foe collapses, defeated. When unmasked, the foe is revealed to be just a young girl. It's revealed the girl is Eleni, the queen's personal maid, and she's unexpectedly strong. The queen commands her to cast a particular spell. Frightened, the maid reluctantly agrees to obey the queen's command. The maid charges straight at him to attack. She throws herself at him, catching him off guard. On impact, she triggers a glowing spell against him. He's shocked by the surge of magical energy. He realizes in shock that she's about to self-destruct. He restrains her, fearing the reckless act was ordered by the queen. 2 spells trigger at once, one of them being teleportation. The spell merges self-destruction with teleportation to ensure Erika's safety. He realizes forcing either spell to stop would trigger an instant explosion. He realizes the spell can't be undone externally and apologizes before taking action. At the final second, he kisses her to neutralize the magic and stop the explosion. He cancels the spell and declares it done. He explains he dissolved the spells from inside her, leaving everyone shocked. He realizes the energy wasn't hers alone, it was planted. He asks if she knew the outcome, and she casually admits she did. She says knowing your tools is simply part of being ready for emergencies. He looks at her in shock, while she turns away nervously. He asks if she realizes what she just did, as the embarrassed maid slowly calms down. With pride, she declares herself as Queen Erika of Karumba. He declares it's about being human, leaving her confused and afraid. He slaps her, asking if she's learned her lesson, while she yells in shock and pain. He warns her not to throw away someone close again, or he'll punish her once more. He says status doesn't matter, and he'll punish her as many times as needed. Blushing, she shyly asks his name. Hermes introduces himself, but before he can finish, she cuts him off with a sharp note. She beams with excitement, calling out, "Darling." She blushes, smiling softly. "Thank you, darling. Being scolded actually made me happy." He freezes in shock, stammering, "Yh," while others clap cheerfully. She gushes that Erika is now into him for being scolded, while he sighs in disbelief, thinking at least she's safe. He walks through town with Erika, drawing curious stares from the crowd. The crowd whispers about Hermes and Sola together, while Erika draws curious stares, looking oddly familiar to many. Erika smirks, casually suggesting she could just make the onlookers disappear. Erika prepares to act, but Hermes stops her, insisting they just change locations, leaving the crowd shocked as they vanish. A cloud of smoke clears, and the stunned crowd realizes Hermes and the others have vanished. Erika looks around confused, while Hermes calmly explains they are now at his estate, a safer and quieter place. Erika, surprised by the grandeur of Hermes' estate, wonders if he's more important than she thought. Hermes introduces himself as just a humble noble. Erika blushes, convinced their meeting is fate. Hermes dismisses the maid's report, telling her to take his sister away, while he learns a visitor came earlier and will return. Hermes demands an explanation, questioning why the queen herself is acting like a kidnapper. Eleni protests, but Erika brushes it off with a smile. Erika proudly explains that Karumba's queens have always cultivated a grand rose garden, leaving Hermes silent. Hermes is shocked by the mention of a rose garden, but Erika clarifies it's not the kind he imagines. Erika explains the Garden of Roses tradition. A queen gathers beautiful women into a harem and presents them to a chosen man. Erika says the tale of the Garden of Roses is tied to Hermes' ancestor, though he's unsure if he knows it. Erika reveals their ancestors were the same, the demon sword wielder, which Hermes instantly recognizes with frustration. Erika boasts about creating her own harem with only the finest women, while Hermes listens seriously. Hermes sets aside the Garden of Roses talk for now, but adds a serious however. Hermes warns Erika not to treat her vassals as disposable, leaving her speechless. Erika apologizes to Eleni, promising not to repeat her actions, leaving Eleni shocked. Hermes threatens to stop calling her darling, but Erica panics, insisting he must keep using it. Suddenly, a massive impact shakes the estate, splitting the ground apart. A lively woman bursts in, calling Hermes her nephew. She crashes down, declaring her arrival while grabbing Hermes. She energetically declares she came just to play, latching onto Hermes with childish excitement. Hermes fumes at Kaori's sudden entrance, but she cheerfully insists it wasn't sudden. She had warned she'd be back. Hermes realizes Kaori was the visitor while she wonders about the others. A rule forbids him from harming anyone not his equal. Erica blushes deeply, amazed that Hermes stands as an equal to the demon lord, finding him even more incredible than she imagined. Kaori feels she's in too deep, while Hermes sighs at her terrible timing. A quiet shot of the mansion closes the chapter. Hermes reviews paperwork about next year's student salaries. He checks the budget, learns growth is 2.4%, and orders a 3% salary increase. He bursts in, surprised to find them there again. She smirks, questioning his why. She gushes, calling herself his sweet queen, while he groans in protest. He questions her presence, while she stammers for words. He reminds her she's the queen, while noting he's working seriously. She bursts into dramatic laughter. She leaps onto him, clinging tightly with a loud scream. She teases that he likes hard-working women, and he awkwardly admits it, while being mocked for slacking himself. They're surprised at how confidently he made decisions without consulting advisors first. She insists a capable ruler should decide everything alone for efficiency. He realizes her strength as a ruler, and she beams at the praise. The nation stands out for an unusual policy. Students actually get paid while they study. This system fuels growth, strengthens its economy, and helps secure its position as a powerful country. In most places, kids are forced to work and rarely get the chance to learn. In Karumba, students get paid just for going to school. Parents feel secure, kids grow through education, and the cycle makes the nation stronger. Everything runs smoothly thanks to the amazing Erica. He warns that Aegina is dangerous since even the demon lord shows up there often. If Erica is exposed, it could spark a major diplomatic crisis. They reassure him. Erica is in disguise. She explains the disguise is an old technique and nearly impossible to detect. He asks how she's disguising herself. Everyone looks confused by her disguise. They wonder about Erica's look, noticing she's in the same dress. Erica clings to him, praising him with excitement. He realizes the disguise magic doesn't affect him because of the ring that suppresses his power. Erica's disguise was forged with high-tier magic, undetectable unless your magic level surpasses the caster's. He realizes his magic is stronger than Erica's. They demand the Garden of Roses be disbanded at once. They decide to give the girls from the Garden of Roses money and send them back home. She questions the decision, shocked that all their effort might go to waste. He admits this version of the garden was filled only with girls chosen to suit his own taste. She decides to rebuild the garden, this time with girls chosen to match her darling's tastes. She agrees to the plan with a confident smile. He's shocked at how easily she goes along with it. She vows to find girls exactly his type, while he realizes this is turning into a massive headache. He wakes up drained and thirsty after drinking too much. He gets a quest to take down a slime lord that appeared at the border. He gets water and gratefully thanked for the save. He drinks from the bottle, unaware of the shady note beside it. The princess suddenly appears, boldly declaring she's come for him. He rides the carriage, looking completely bored. She asks why he looks down, and he blames it on her tagging along. She's revealed to be Princess Rina. Rina reminds him that he's her master and instructor now. She introduces herself as Rina mi Aegina. Rina is revealed as the princess of Aegina, the king's daughter and the prince's sister. He recalls accidentally defeating the king, which led to both him and Rina becoming his disciples at the so-called Nanus school. She thanks him for accepting the quest, admitting she couldn't let the opportunity slip by. She admits the Demon King is far beyond her, but believes battling a slime lord is still valuable training. He suspects it's just a ploy to boost her reputation, but she insists it's not. She admits she hates seeing him down and requested the quest to remind him of his strength. He agrees to take it. They arrive, and he complains about the slow carriage while she apologizes. He's ready to get it over with. They face the Slime Lord, with her standing back to observe. He notices her staring at him intently. He plans to use just a fraction of his magic to finish the slimes without drawing too much attention. He focuses his magic into a single strike meant to wipe them all out at once. He unleashes the spell, blasting all the slimes in a single strike. A massive explosion erupts, wiping out the enemies completely. He looks surprised after unleashing the attack. She's shocked by his display, but he brushes it off as nothing special. He wonders if he lost control of his power. He realizes he drank a potion that doubled his magic. She excitedly gets it, while he's left confused. She excitedly declares that he's become even stronger. She praises him for being twice as strong, while he denies it, frustrated that it's happening again.